Hello. Welcome on back to my channel. I hope y'all are doing well. Over the years, I've shared so many tutorials focusing on different complexions from deep to medium, tan, olive. So today I want to share with you how to create a soft glam look on someone who has quite, fair skin. And I'm doing this all in partnership with Taupe. So without further ado, if you want to learn how I created this look right here, then keep on watching. So to begin, I'm taking the Dalba Vital First Spray Serum and using this to prep Anastasia's skin with. Y'all usually see me use their original White Truffle First Spray Serum, but the Vital version, which is what I'm using here, focuses on the skin concerns of those who have sensitive, redness-prone skin. You can spray it like you saw there in the beginning, or you can spray it onto a cotton pad and lightly tap it into the skin as you see here. Now this still has that, the bi-layer component that their other sprays do, having the White Truffle Serum for antioxidant care, and then the oil layer for vitality and to improve texture. But more than anything, this formula tones the skin, targeting and relieving the areas of redness and irritation. You can use it before makeup, after makeup, even to refresh your makeup throughout the day. So after this, I'm going to follow up with the Dalba White Truffle Double Serum and Cream. Starting with the Aqua Serum, I'm applying this to the skin before massaging it in. Of course, per usual, I'll include both of these Dalba products I'm using down below in the description box if you want to check it out yourself. But what's great about this is that it's a 2-in-1, right? So you have the Aqua Serum side, and then you have the Intense Cream side, which you'll see me use in a moment. But I want to talk about this because there are two different formulas and finishes. The Aqua Serum hydrates and soothes the skin, but it's extremely lightweight and it soaks into the skin very quickly without leaving like a greasy finish. So let's say you're someone who has an oily skin type, using only the Aqua Serum during the day would be perfect for you. And then use the Intense Cream at night for added moisture. And if you have dry skin, layering both of these together, as I'm doing today with Anastasia, is ideal because you see the Intense Cream does exactly what it says, is it intensifies the hydration of the skin. It deeply nourishes and firms the skin and allows for the base to be fully prepped for the makeup we put on top of it. Now, speaking of which, I'm going to start out with this Natasha Denona Hy-glam Concealer in the shade P1 and use this to conceal and brighten around the eyes. I'm not going crazy with a heavy amount here, just enough to blend up and out with the makeup sponge. I've been loving these concealers lately. It's lightweight and extremely pigmented, so a little goes a long way with this. It has a soft matte velvet finish, and in my opinion, it performs and wears beautifully throughout the day. Next up, what I'm going to do here is take the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in the shade 3.8 and mix in the tiniest amount of our Dalba moisturizer, which is going to sheer out the pigment of the foundation and give us less coverage, which it's not something you usually hear me say very often because in my world, the more coverage, the better. But I know not all of my clients and not everyone watching these tutorials wants full coverage. So this little trick is great. Just mix in some of your foundation into your moisturizer will sheer out the coverage and give a lightweight, more skin-like finish that a lot of people prefer, especially for, the daytime. And truth be told, our model Anastasia doesn't need much coverage. Her skin really quite is flawless, so I want to complement it with the right products and by applying them correctly. To blush up the cheeks, I'm using this Mario Soft Pop blush in the shade Pale Petal and applying this onto her cheeks with a blush brush before I further blend it in with my sponge. Because this is a cream formula, it's really going to melt into the skin and blend beautifully with the complexion. And this color is perfect because it's not a super like stark pink or red shade. It has the perfect amount of pigment that picks up and reads well on fair skin, but won't have you looking like a clown. You know what I mean? It's light enough to give us a natural flush of color to the cheeks, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Now that we have the liquids and creams applied, I'm using this Huda Beauty Easy Bake Setting Powder in the shade Poundcake and using the lightest amount of this to set the concealer into place. I was saying earlier how much I've been loving this concealer, but here's the thing. The concealer claims, right? It claims it's crease proof. I don't care who tells you what, there is no concealer in the world that's completely crease proof. Now, there are formulas that may be crease resistant, which I believe is the case with this one, but no matter what, it's going to need a little bit of powder to set the formula into place. It doesn't have to be a lot of powder, but a little here and there makes a big difference. For the rest of the face, I'm using the One Size Powder Foundation in the shade Fair 3N and applying a light layer of this around the perimeter and T-zone. This will help bring down a little bit of that shine and I suppose add some coverage. But if you're really looking to add coverage, you'd want to use a brush that has more density, meaning the bristles are more compact so you can really pick up the pigment and press it in and build it up. But in this case, I'm using a larger, fluffier brush just so we can get a sheer veil of product onto the skin. Next up, I'm using the One Size Bronzer and Sculpt Trio to add some definition to her cheekbones. Now the palette I'm using here is in the shade Light, but if you truly have fair skin, I recommend using the Fair palette shade. For some reason I couldn't find it, otherwise I would have used it today instead, but it's fine. This will give me similar results. I'm just looking to add a hint of warmth to the cheeks. And for those of you who know, you know, bronzing fair skin can be a very hit or miss process. A lot of bronzers can make the skin look too orange or muddy. So the trick is to use a product with a cool undertone. And you can leave it up to this baking step to do the job too, using a form of reverse contouring by baking the jawline and under eyes with that Huda Beauty baking powder we used earlier. It'll leave behind highlights once we wipe it away later. Those highlights will accentuate her natural shadows, resulting in a more defined look. While we leave this powder here to bake, I'm going to work on the brows using this Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pencil in the shade Taupe. I start by running our setting powder through the brow hairs and then head over to the pencil to begin drawing in the shape, starting from the center of the brow and then working my way down towards the tail of the brow. Our model prefers a more lifted brow shape, so you'll see how I create that. And I want to say real quick, the reason you saw me apply the powder a moment ago was to mattify the brow hairs and the skin underneath those hairs, because what happens if we don't is the skin will be too slippery of a surface for that pencil. The skin and hairs are slippery from the skincare and foundation we used prior. That's why a lot of times when people use their brow pencil and they don't see any pigment, they think it's just a bad product, but that's not usually the case. The skin has to be mattified so the pencil has something to grip onto and therefore dispense more pigment. So if you're experiencing this issue, don't run out and buy a new product. Just try mattifying the brow hairs first and see if that fixes the problem. Next up, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow powder in the shade Taupe to lightly set that pencil into place and to build up the density on the tail of the brow. What's keeping this brow on the soft and natural side is that most of the pigment I've placed here, whether it be from the pencil or powder, is on the outer half of the brow. That's where we want most of the pigment, but you notice how I've kept it much softer in the front of the brow towards the bridge of the nose. It's giving us a gradient effect that keeps the brow looking structured, but without looking harsh. Now to finish off the brows, I'm taking the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze and applying this through the brow hairs using the spoolie end of the brow pencil to lock the hairs into place. I feel like this small step makes a big difference in the overall look. It keeps the brows looking clean and polished all day long, so you won't have to worry about them looking disheveled throughout the wear of the makeup. So for the eye makeup here, what I'm doing is using something with a straight edge. It can be a business card or an envelope or really anything you have lying around will do. And I'm placing that on the outer half of the eye, following the bottom lash line straight up towards the temple. This is a little trick I use all the time to get a really clean line from our eyeshadow. It's especially helpful for someone who prefers doing the eye makeup after the complexion, or if you prefer not using tape. And as you can see here, it gives us that clean line to work with and will act as a blueprint for when we add on eyeliner. By the way, the eyeshadow I'm running across the lid here, it isn't even a proper eyeshadow. It's the brow powder we used a moment ago through her brows. The thing is, on fair skin, when creating a soft glam kind of look, eyeshadows can easily read too warm or even too orange. So try sticking to shades like grays, mauves, or in this case, taupe. It doesn't have to be a lot of product, but just a hint of shadow smoked out on the upper lid and lower lash line adds a hint of drama while still looking natural. To elevate this look, I'm taking this shade here from the Pat McGrath Celestial Nirvana eyeshadow palette and sweeping this onto the upper lid. Listen, y'all know I'll look for any reason to use glitter and sparkle, so this is the perfect opportunity. It's subtle enough to wear during the daytime if you'd like, but it's also a quick and easy way to transition your daytime makeup into something a little more glam for the evening. And then with this Makeup Forever Aqua Resist color pencil, I'm running this through her upper lash line, keeping the placement thicker towards the outer half for a winged effect, and then gradually thinning the line as I make my way to the inner corner. The shade I'm using here is called Iron, and I chose this color because it's not pitch black. I actually find it to be almost a, I don't know, maybe like a dark gray, which reads a little softer than black would. In my case here, our model told me she never wears eye makeup, like no eyeshadow, not eyeliner, nothing, just a little mascara. So this is a great example of being able to create something glam that's a little out of your usual or out of your client's usual, but still within their comfort zone. So we've kept it subtle with that soft taupe eyeshadow, glammed it back up with that sparkle, and then lightly smoking out the winged liner for that diffused effect. And then you'll see me here in a moment head back to the powder foundation we used earlier and using that with an angled liner brush to clean up the shadow below the eyeliner, which sharpens the wing and polishes up the look. For mascara, I'm using the Dior Show mascara and running this through the upper lashes. You'll see what I do here in a moment for the, for the lower lashes, but in the meantime, for the top, a light coat of mascara is all we need before adding on the falsies. The falsies I'm using today are these individual lashes from a brand called Emboss Beauty, and I'm popping them right onto the outer half of her eyes. I think I used a total of like 3 or maybe 4 of these wispy individuals, but what's nice here is that they come in 3 different lengths. So I've mixed the short and the medium lengths to create something that accentuates her eye shape. And like I said, she doesn't ever wear false lashes, and I didn't want to scare her away with thick, long spider leg lashes, so keeping it natural looking is something her and I both really liked for this look. And this is what I was talking about a moment ago regarding the bottom lashes. Instead of mascara, I'm using an eyeliner pen and running it across the lash hairs. This is something I do for my own no makeup look. If you have blonde or light lashes and you don't want the look of mascara, just darken the lashes with your eyeliner pen and it'll define them in the most subtle and dainty way. Now that I'm wiping away the baking powder, I can see here where and how much blush I want to add. So using the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop blush in the shade Mellow Mauve, I'm applying this onto the cheeks to reinforce the cream blush we used earlier. Of course, like any step, this is optional, but given that the eye makeup is so neutral in undertone, I really feel like a little extra blush will bring the complexion to life, especially once we pair it with a complementary lip color. For extra glow, I'm using the ColourPop Super Shock highlighter in the shade Lunch Money and applying this to the high points of her cheekbones, Cupid's bow, and the tip of the nose. Honestly, looking back at this footage now, I don't know if this was the right decision. I think there's a time and place for highlighter like, any other makeup product, but I was kind of enjoying the soft matte finish we had going on. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, what's done is done. It still looks gorgeous. So I'm going to move on to using the Buxom Powerline lip liner in the shade Hush Hush Henna and use this to trace the borders of her lips with. I love the Buxom pencils because they glide on like butter and they have that sharp edge to them that make it easy for application. Now I chose this shade because I knew I wanted a rose toned lip. I've been doing a lot of nude lip combos lately and I wanted something that had a little more flair to it, a little more spice, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm using here the brush on the other end of this pencil to blend that pigment forward towards the center. Next up, taking this Makeup Forever lip pencil in the shade Anywhere Caffeine, I'm applying this to the perimeter of the lip for added dimension. So in a way, I kind of used the Buxom liner as a lipstick, and now using this shade, which adds more to the color story because it's a little darker and has more of a peach undertone to it. For added shine, I'm using this Lawless lip gloss in the shade Daisy Pink and gliding this right on top. If you'd like to keep the lip matte, you totally can, but I will forever love a high shine, hydrated lip finish, and this does just the trick. So to finish off this look, I'm heading back to our D'Alba Vital First Spray Serum and using this to melt those powders in and to bring back that skin-like finish, making this the final step in how I created this soft glam look on our naturally beautiful model. There we have it, kids. I hope y'all enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, be sure to give this video a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also check out more of my work on my Instagram at Painted by Spencer. And until next time, I'll see you soon.